Thank you, senators and representatives. My name is Kristen Basega, and I'm speaking to you today as the president of the Glastonbury Education Association, and I'm standing in support of SB 1459. As you know, this legislation will establish a minimum salary for educators and, most importantly, establish a grant program for districts to actually pay these educators the difference between the minimum salary and what they're currently earning. This isn't an impossible ask. I know people had mentioned there's a lot of zeros attached, but it's not an impossible ask because this body took similar action in 1986 with the Education Enhancement Act. Back then, the Connecticut legislature established a minimum salary of $20,000. And adjusting for inflation, that $20,000 wage in 1986 is just about $60,000 now. But the average starting teacher salary now is only $48,000. So our salaries have been lagging behind. Establishing a minimum salary that is calculated based on the poverty line ensures that today's wage adjustment continues to account for future inflation. And I've heard it said before that teachers who work in well-off districts like Glastonbury wouldn't be concerned with minimum teacher salary, but that's categorically untrue. So on our salary schedule, the first 5 steps of bachelor's are all under this threshold. The first 3 steps of master's are all under this threshold. And actually the first 2 steps of master's plus, which is either 2 master's degrees or a master's degrees plus 30 additional credits, master's step 2 is still under this threshold. All in all, our first 10 steps across several categories are lower than this projected started salary. Many of our members have 2 wage earners in their household on our salary schedule, or 1 wage earner supporting a family on their own. Not only that, but having a set minimum starting salary would mean that most districts would be offering similar packages to new hires. It would alleviate the teacher shortage and that districts would be able to offer similar incentives no matter where that educator was starting their career. And I've seen what a low starting salary means for educators. I knew a teacher that worked late nights at a local hotel because she could sit there and grade if no one was checking in. I've seen teachers that were in their first year that were trying to do all their lesson plans and figuring out their curriculum and then rushing to be a waiter or waitress after school. Okay. And on my end, I think it's important for you to hear what it would have meant to me as a first-year teacher. I started teaching when my daughter Sophia was 9 months old, and I started teaching at a magnet school with extended hours. Our base pay was $43,000 with a master's degree, but our school day was an hour and a half longer than any other school district, and I worked those extra hours and I taught those extra classes in order to be able to support my family. Having a fair starting salary, one that valued my early work and professionalism, would have meant that I could have spent more time with my family and my daughter when she was still little. It would mean that all districts would have equal chances to recruit new teachers, and I respectfully ask that you support SB 1459. Thank you.
Thank you so much.